The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone and welcome to another WCR webinar. Tonight we have John Lee with us talking about pure water maintenance. As we kind of described in the webinar description, John Lee is going to go over RO maintenance and filter maintenance on a variety of pure water systems as well as general maintenance. He has some videos that he's put together demonstrating, changing filters on the Hydro Tube and the Wash It Pro as well as an Apollo system that we have. Along with the videos, he's going to have a little bit of information, and then also he's going to be open to any questions. So as you watch the videos, he'll pause sporadically, ask if anybody has any questions. So as some of you may know, right now everybody's on mute. Any questions that you have, just put them into the chat box and they'll be transferred over so they're viewable by everybody. And then when John's ready for questions, I will actually just ask the questions out loud like that. So feel free to type in any questions that you have throughout, and then when we get to the question portion, I'll run through them. So John, I'm going to hand it over to you now, okay?
All right. Thank you, Kate, and welcome once again. All of you, I appreciate your time, and it's a very busy season. I just felt it would be very apropos with the fact that you are running your systems full-time now with the changing in the weather and the spring rush, and we don't want to forget about maintenance. So we originally were going to try to do this in my garage live, but technical difficulties didn't allow, so I made some videos. And so I'll play some of the videos and then stop them and let you guys ask questions. The first one here is on carbon and sediment filters. So here we go. I think this is the first one. No, that is not the first one. No, let's see. Here we go. Hey, John Lee here. Welcome to the webinar. We plan to do this live from my garage. And please excuse the bright sunlight behind us here. I know you guys are loving that.
John, the video is not actually showing.
It's not?
No. You might need to pull up a screen or something.
It's not showing, huh? Okay.
No, right now I see just your blog page.
Okay. Let me see then. Let's see how to do that then. Okay, here's the blog page. Now, you're going to have to walk me through this. I opened it up on my screen. Can you only just hear it, Kate?
I heard it. It was a little low, but we
okay,
didn't see
all right.
any video.
Well, let's see. How can I put it on this screen?
It should show whatever you show on your screen to everybody here viewing the webinar.
Okay. Well, it's on my screen now. It's just iPhoto is up. The screen is there. You don't see that?
I am not seeing it.
All right.
If we can't get the video to work,
okay, let me go into the little. Let me go into the little control box and see if here's the little control box. Let's see. All right. Show my screen. Okay. Screen says it's showing. Let me try
yeah,
this.
I see your screen.
All right, let me try it.
We see this.
Okay, how about now? You see my screen now?
There you go.
Got it. I just had to do the little control box. Got it. Okay. Sorry
Just make sure
for
the volume's up.
technical difficulties there. All right, there we go.
With the webinar is why I'm filming this first, so you'll be able to watch it tonight, and then we will answer questions after. What I'm going to do today is title this Pure Water Maintenance. We're going to take a look at the different systems, RO and DI. I have actually 3 different systems here that we're going to look at.
John, if you could turn the volume up a little.
How to change the filters on these. We'll talk a little bit about when to change the filters, what the manufacturer recommendations are for the filters with their units. And I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to back the camera up so you can actually see what I'm doing. You won't be able to hear me talk, so I won't be talking while I'm doing the different filter changes, but I will pause, move the camera in, and talk to you a little bit about what I've just done and go over some of the details. I'm hoping that this will be real beneficial for you in maintaining your system. As window cleaners, we spend a lot of money on these systems, so we want to be able to get the best return on our investment. And because RO, especially RO systems, were actually designed to run constantly in the way we're using them in the window cleaning business, we don't get the full use out of the membranes. But hopefully with some of the things you'll learn today, you'll be able to extend the life of the membrane. For some of you, it will be elementary. For others, it will be basic information. Some of you, depending on where you are in your business with pure water cleaning, you may not have got to this point. Some of you others may have been doing it for years. So just bear with us, and I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about the first filter, the sediment filter. Some systems use a carbon sediment together. This particular one here is a carbon sediment combination. The way these things are designed, some of them have the carbon on the top and the sediment on the bottom. This one has the sediment on the outside and the carbon block on the inside. So what happens is the water is forced through the 5 micron here. Sorry about that. And travels through the 5 micron. That removes any particles that are in the water that are larger than 5 microns. And then it goes through the carbon. Of course, that takes the chlorine out, which is vital in protecting your RO membrane. This particular one is really small because this one goes on the hydro tube from IPC Eagle. And that's the first unit we're going to look at here. And we're going to take a look at how to change the carbon sediment. You can order these. They come in packs of 2 with 2 cartridges with DI resin. So when you order those, you actually get 2 of these and 2 carbon sediments. So I'm going to move the camera back here and show you how to change the filter hydro tube. A little tool that I like to use is just something I had handy. It's just a Y splitter, but it makes it really easy for taking the head off of the caps off of the hydro tube. So I'm going to show you how to change the carbon on the hydro tube here. Yeah, and so we've got the hydro tube here. The top cap you remove if you're going to change the DI resin. The bottom here is where the carbon sediment is. So I like to stand it upright, like this, this, and it's made to do that. It has a handle on the bottom. I don't know if you can't see this, but the first thing you remove is the ring. And the ring is what holds the cap on. That ring keeps the water pressure from blowing this out, because these houses are under a lot of water pressure. But to remove that ring, it has a little handle, a little nipple on it, and you pull it in. You can use your finger, you can use a screwdriver. You want to be real careful with it though, because it's plastic. As you can see, I'm struggling with it. Okay, but I got it there. What I did was pitched it in and pulled it out. It has a little rim around the edge, and that's what holds it in place. So now I'll use my little tool I was telling you about. What I'll do is go on. Forgot it has two different size bolts for the top and the bottom. This is just a pipe threaded pipe, and it will screw right in to the housing of the cap on the housing. And what that does is that gives you a handle to work with. And when you first take this off, it's not going to be this easy, but I'll take it on off so much. Then that just comes right off. I've already pulled the old one out, but you basically reach down in, and you're only going to be able to get a hold of the very fingertips of the carbon sediment, and you pull it out. It's not easy because there's not a lot of room in there for you to work, but get a hold of it with your fingers. You can twist it back and forth, and you can get it out. This is a new one. Okay, I'm going to fit it right in there, but what I'm going to do, every one of these from IPC Eagle will come with Magic Lube. Magic Lube is a lubrication as well as a waterproofing. And you can see I'm just putting a little bit around the seal here, just so it seals up nice. I'm going to push it down in there. I heard it snap, so it snapped in place. Then I'm going to put this back in here. I'm going to leave that on there because I'm going to need to use that to press it down to get it back in. So with these O-rings, with these cap clips, you start the end opposite of the tip, and you get it down in the groove. You have to put that little groove, and then if you pull in, you can't see what I'm doing here, but if you pull in the tip, at the same time push the housing down in, it will snap in place, but you got to work with it. You want to see that cap's got to go all the way down in there before the lip will snap in place. And because this unit is so tight inside there, you have to really work with it. The real world, I'm telling you this. It's in there tight. So we're trying to move this around until it snaps in. Almost got it. Okay, got it. You can see that was quite a job to get that to snap in there. It's a really tight fit. So that's how you change the carbon sediment on the hydro tube.
Okay, so let's take any questions on the hydro tube. Okay.
I don't have any questions coming through right now, John. Does anybody have any questions outside of even just what John has showed you with changing the filter? Possibly if you have a hydro tube and you have any questions or any issues that you might be having with it now that John can help you with. Anybody? Got no questions right now coming through. I mean, we can always come back. Oh, wait. Just had one from Alex. Is there an up or down position on the filter?
On the carbon sediment, no. It does have a nipple. The hydro tube is unique in the way that it's designed because it's custom built. So there are nipples that on each end of the RO membrane that allows both the carbon and the DI canisters to press in. So those are necessary.
Okay, any other questions, anybody? If we do, we can revisit it if you don't think of something right now and you come back to it. I do have, wait, 2 more questions coming through.
Okay.
One from Steve, and it is, why does chlorine damage RO membrane?
Well, the membrane itself is sprayed with a coating, and the chlorine, because it's so strong, damages that spray on the membrane. It actually, melts it because, if you've ever worked with bleach, it's a strong chemical.
Okay, I had a question from Ken, and he said we're going to cover the Wash It Pro, correct? And yes, Ken, we are going to cover the Wash It Pro. So if there's no more hydro tube questions, I guess, John, we can move on to the next video that you have.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, now we're going to take a look at this other unit here. Is the Wash It Pro, and I'm going to show you how to change the carbon and how to change the DI on it. So bear with me. I'm going to leave the camera here and now, so I won't be able to talk to you. But what I'm going to do first is show you how to take the carbon off and how to change those. All right. Okay, it's the DI housing. When you first remove it, there is water that gets trapped on the outside, between the outside of the cartridge and the housing that will run out. So make sure that you're prepared for that. It's not much, small amount of water. As you can see, I have a tool that is for this, removes this, counterclockwise, loosens it. Once you remove the housing, This is your refillable cartridge. It has a small cap that you take off. On the very top of this, you will have a sponge. Okay, this sponge, what it does is keeps the resin, helps the resin which flows through this from passing out into your water. But you'll pull that out, rinse that out, and you want to save that. Okay? Then if you want to save your resin, you can pour it into a bag, save it, and recycle it, or you can bag it up and throw it away. Either way. Then you refill. You'll refill this with your new resin. Put the sponge back in. Pack it tight if you can. Maybe pack it, put a little water in it, pack it down, and put some more in. That way you get as much resin as you can. Just snug tight's fine on this. Put it back in. Put the top back on. Hand tighten it with the tool. Now this has two rubber O-rings, which I will use my magic lube to put on these. Doesn't take a lot. You notice I used 1 foot to support the cart, then just as much as I could tighten. You don't have to wrench it down. If you notice it leaking, you go back and tighten it a little more. This is your carbon sediment. Just comes right out. This is a new one because I've had mine since October. So I've changed it. This one here is the carbon sediment with the carbons on the outside on this one. The other one had the sediment on the outside. This one has carbon on the outside and sediment on the inside. Has a little, you can see it has a little hole in it, and there's a hole in the bottom of the housing. Just line that up. It also has two O-rings. So I'll use my magic lube. Now, the manufacturer recommends on this filter that it's changed every 2,500 gallons. There are some filters that carbon sediments that are good for 3 months. It'll actually say on there 3 months. And then there are some like this one here, which is 2,500 gallons. They're rated. You can read on the outside what they're rated for. So that's how you change those on the Pro. Pretty simple. But next we're going to take a look at the filters. Next we're going to look at the RO membrane. Talk to you a little bit about that. Two different types. The hydro tube told you before, it uses the O-ring type. So you want to remove it the same way. Remove the O-ring. This has the male, and this is where I use this little Y adapter to remove that. And I won't go through that. I've already showed you how to remove them. To remove that, there's a VI canister that comes out first. The recommended change, filter change on this unit is every 40 hours that you change the carbon and VI on this one. Of course, they're smaller, so they have to be changed more often. But you change it this way, the same way you remove the RO membrane. You pull the VI out, hook it up to the water, turn the water on, and it will actually push the membrane right out of the housing. So that makes it really easy. The Pro has a stainless steel housing, so it's a little bit different. One thing's nice about a stainless steel housing is it will not warp like a PVC housing will. If it gets frozen, it can warp. Stainless steel, of course, much stronger. But the cap's a little different on it. You can see it has a ring with bolts on either side. And it looks like this. Your inlet and your outlet, your wastewater and your pure water, premium water. But it has a little lip here, and then this part actually goes down into the housing, and you see this lip. This ring here, which comes off, first you'd have to remove your, well, you wouldn't necessarily have to, but it'd be easier if you removed your tubing, but your inlet hose. But you loosen this up, both sides. Okay. Fit your wrench. This is being a male, you put a female, your female Y splitter. And you're going to have to really work with this one, okay, because it's tighter. And you just rock it and pop it out, okay? All right, then once you remove this, the cap off, you do the same thing. You can lay it vertical, turn your water pressure on, and it'll actually push the RO membrane out because the cap's what holds it in place. And that's how you would change your RO membrane. All right, so that's two things. Is the Apollo. This is a van mount system. This particular unit can be run direct connect, or you can carry water with you and filter it drawing from the tank. But it has both a carbon and a sediment filter. It's two separate ones. A 10-inch. You use this tool here to remove them. Okay, so you can see pretty much the same way as that. Now, this here is a sediment only. As you can see, it's caught quite a bit of stuff through it. It's probably ready to be changed. The manufacturer recommends every 2 months on this unit to change out the pre-filters. So there you have it. That's a 5-micron sediment filter. Same way when you replace it, you slide the new one in, line it up with the hole on the bottom so it sinks all the way down. It has an O-ring inside here, so I'm going to lube that. Okay, so you remove the carbon the same way. Take it off, pull the old one out, put the new one in, magic lube. This also has a DI. Has a 40-inch stainless steel housing like the Pro, and then it has a DI tank. And the way you change the DI is you remove the inlet and the outlet hose on either side, and it has a cap that you can actually turn.
Okay, so one thing I thought about in watching that I didn't really get to tell you guys about because I didn't get to show you the RO membrane is every RO membrane has what they call a brine ring on it. And that brine ring, I know on IPC the brine ring always goes at the top, like on the hydro tube. That ring basically, what it does is it seals the outside of the membrane against the housing. So that's one thing I thought of in watching the video there that I didn't get a chance to tell you guys. If you ever change an RO membrane, make sure that the brine seal goes in correct, because if you put it in upside down, and you're not going to get a good water flow out of your unit, or it's not going to work proper. So, of course, manufacturer can help you with that. Alex and Chris, and myself, Kate, we're all here. We have direct access to these manufacturers, so if there's any questions that we don't know, we can get you that information when you get ready to change out your RO membranes. So, any questions about that section of the video?
Yes, we actually have a bunch of questions.
Okay.
One of them is actually, I think, two of them before you started right when you started on the washes, there were questions left over from the hydro tube. First one was from Tim, and it says, how many gallons typically can you run through the tube before it needs to be changed? I'm sure this depends on the level of chlorine.
Well, like I said, on the hydro tube, the manufacturer recommends that you change the carbon sediment and the DI after 40 hours of run time. Now, of course, none of us, including myself, I don't log my run time. That particular unit there I used for about 18 months, and I fill a tank, a 100-gallon tank. So what I did, just simply because it was too much of a pain to take apart to change the carbon, I bought a 10-inch carbon housing and filter that I kept on the outside. And I know the one that I got was rated for 3 months, so I only changed it every 3 months. That's just the way I did it because it was easier than ripping it open. As you saw how difficult that is, and changing that every 40 hours.
Okay, the next question from Alex is, how much pressure is recommended for water to pass through the DI?
Well, it depends upon the unit. Like we have one unit that we sell called the Hydrostation, and it's actually made of ceramic housing, and it can handle up to 1,500 psi. The HydroTube is a PVC material, so it can't handle, you don't want to really put more than 100 pounds of pressure on it. Of course, the stainless steel is stronger, so it can handle more pressure, on the housing.
Okay, now the next question is kind of right around when we started on the wash it. This is from Ken. I have used my new wash it for 7 hours at 4 different locations and cannot get enough pressure for a proper rinse. The water barely clears the bristles.
Okay, any new membrane has a break-in period. It's usually 4 hours of run time. It varies, but number one, I would check to see what your water pressure on your inlet, coming out of your spigot, what that pressure is. And second thing I would look at is, are you using a outside diameter 5/8 garden hose to connect from the spigot to the Wash It Pro? You want the largest hose you can get that'll fit is the 5/8 outside diameter with 3/4 NPT connectors. Another nice thing about the Wash It Pro is if you do get on a job where you don't have enough water flow, you just bypass the RO membrane and run directly through the DI canister. So, but I would first check to see that you have a big enough hose, garden hose, the 5/8. And then I would, we're putting together a kit that will have a gauge, a pressure gauge where you can check the water pressure at the spigot. It'll be very inexpensive. We're sourcing that out, and so you can always check your water source. But if you have at least 35 to 40 psi, you should be getting good flow at the brush, easily getting a ½ gallon a minute.
Okay, Alex jumped back in about that pressure question just before about the DI. He said he was asking about pressure because he wasn't sure if he needed a pump before DI and after.
No pump is needed on DI. An RO membrane, because it's not a filter, it does restrict water. The way it works is the water travels in a circular tube through funnels inside. The water on the high side passes through to the water on the low side, and that process is what filters it. It goes through like little channels to the center, and that's where your pre-mead water is. So it does restrict the flow of water, but these are, but all these systems that we use are what are called low energy or low flow membranes, so they're actually designed to run, all 40 35 to 40 pounds of pressure of water.
Okay, next question is from Steve. How can you tell if a carbon filter needs replacing?
You really can't, Steve. What the easiest way to do is buy you those little chlorine sticks at the pool store. There you can get like 100 of them in a little, you know, a little container, and just stick it in your water as it comes out of your unit, and it will register chlorine. So if it's registering chlorine, you know, you need to change the carbon. Chlorine's getting through there.
Okay, the next question is, do those tools come with the wash it? I think he's talking about, you know,
Yes,
the wrench and whatnot.
All those tools I was using, the large and the small, come with the wash it.
Also from Alex, where do you get the magic lube?
It comes with the unit. Both the Hydro Tube, it came with it, and it came with the Wash It Pro. The Wash It Pro comes with those tools. It comes with 50 feet of 3/8 hose. It comes with an extra canister, that DI canister that I changed. It comes with an empty one of those. And the reason behind that is, if you do have to use DI only, we want you to be able to have a backup DI to change out on the job. So you can carry that full of resin and quickly change it out on the job site if you have to use DI only. It comes with a TDS meter. It comes with both of those tools to change your filters.
Okay, I have another question from Ken, and it is, I know this is basic, but when do I use just DI, just RO, and when both?
Okay, here's what we've been learning with this unit. It's been really neat. It's the first time we've ever done this, and at least everybody that I'm talking to has had great success. This unit's designed to use RO only or DI only, or RO and DI. We recommend that you use RO only because it's the least expensive way to make pure water. Okay? So if you're getting spot-free results with the RO only, use that. If you're not, then use the RO DI together. Okay? If you get on a job where there's not enough water pressure coming out of the tap, then you connect the garden hose from the tap into the inlet side of that gray DI canister, and then you connect your feed hose on the outlet side. So you run direct through the direct, DI. You bypass the carbon and the RO. Now, there's another thing about this unit that you can do also. If you have two workers and you have access to two poles, you can actually put a splitter on your spigot and run one hose to the carbon through the DI, and then the other hose go through just the DI, and you can run two poles with it.
Okay, I've got another question from Alex. Does the TDS factor in choosing RO, DI, RO, or DI alone?
Okay, I think I'm understanding what he's saying is what we do at WCR is if you're in an area, and the easiest way to find out what your TDS is just go to zerowater.com, put in your zip code, and you can look at the areas that you service. There's a little, It'll bring up a map of your area with little bubbles for the different zip codes. And what it does is it uses city water records. The city's required to test their water on a regular basis and report that to the EPA because people are drinking that water. Well, it'll give you your TDS. So if your TDS in the areas that you're working at is less than 100 parts per million, or right at 100, then we recommend that it's very cost effective and feasible for you to use DI only. Buy a tank. Don't rent a tank. Buy a tank because you're going to own it. You're not going to be leasing it. You're going to be able to fill it with your own virgin resin. You're not going to be relying on regenerated resin. And you know, that's a great way to go. I did that for a lot of years. It works great. It's trouble-free. It's the easiest way to filter water there is. If you're higher than 100 parts per million, then we recommend that you go with a 3 or 4 stage system, which is, you know, which I showed you tonight. All 3 of those that we looked at are 3 and 4 stage systems.
Okay. Alex is actually from Lubbock, Texas, and he said he has very high TDS there.
Yes. Would that be Alex Lacey?
Alex Hernandez, actually.
Hernandez. Alex, hello. I wondered who was asking all those questions. I know, Alex, you're very excited to get a unit.
I'm sure this has been very informative, too. Did you have another video to play, John?
Yes, I did. When we're done, yeah, I wanted to talk to him about something new we've learned.
Okay, if you want to do that now, because I think the questions kind of like slowed down right now.
All right.
I think it'd be a good time.
Okay, with this new Wash It Pro unit, because of the way it's designed with the RO and the DI being able to run separate, we sort of were brainstorming different ways to clean the RO membrane. And so we came up with the idea of what if you ran pure water through your RO membrane to clean what happens on an RO membrane. The thing that damages it is called scaling, and that's where the minerals in the water and bacteria also will scale on the outside of the membrane, and what that does is it causes the water pressure to slow down. You know, it just causes more restriction on the water. So we came up with the idea, well, pure water is a great cleaning agent. What if we ran pure water through the RO membrane to clean it? And so I did a test first to see how that would work, and then I had another customer that I told about, and he did it, and he sent me a video. But I'm going to show you. But I want to show you on his video what he didn't understand. He was testing the water, the pre-mead water. He should have been testing the reject water. But I did it on my unit, which is the oldest running Wash It Pro that we have out there. It's been in use since October. And you'll be able to see how it really did from the TDS. You can see that it cleaned the membrane because it started out pretty high, and after 10 minutes it got it all the way down to 0. So these are like 3 different videos in conjunction, so bear with me. I'll run through them, not that way. Let's see, here we go. I think I'm in the right order here, so if I'm not, I'll stop and start over.
Okay, now it's been about 6.
No, it's the wrong way.
Okay, now it's down to 1.
No, that's not it. Okay, this is
Okay, now it's been about 6 or 7 minutes. Let's check it and see what it's at now. Now it's all the way down to 5. So obviously it went from 48 to 5. So it's definitely cleaning that RO, getting all those minerals out. Okay, now it's down to 1. So it cleaned it all the way down to 1 in less than 10 minutes. So obviously it does work.
All right, John, this is how I cleaned the RO membrane. I didn't use the DI cartridge on the front of the Waterfed Pro because I have the DI resin left that I haven't burned up yet. So what I did was run my spigot dirty water into my DI resin, then from my DI resin into my carbon filter with the carbon filter out, which then in return went through the RO and come out the discharge on the bottom, the gray fitting. That you see right here. I ran it for 5 seconds maybe, and it was showing the TDS reading as 0. So then I shut it off, and how I capped the bottom of the RO membrane was I used the discharge holes on the bottom there, and I put a garden hose fitting on it to shut it off. So that's how I'm doing it right now, so I don't waste the resin in the yard.
Okay, so just to help clarify some of that, we also, what we did was we presented this all to the engineer. We ran this by the engineer who designed these units, and he is in total agreement that it definitely will prolong the life of your membrane. What Patrick here did was he didn't realize he should have been testing the water coming out of the red hose, the reject water, because that's where your minerals are flushed out. That pure water would flush all the minerals that were scaling on the outside. Another thing that we learned is if over the weekends you will fill your RO housing with pure water and let it sit over the weekends and soak in the pure water, that will do more cleaning and then drain it out, after the weekend. Another thing, too, I want to mention is always drain on a regular basis when you're done for the day. Always drain the water out of that stainless steel housing, because you don't want to leave dirty water, or tap water sitting on that membrane, overnight or whatever. Now, pure water will be great, if because that will actually be cleaning and descaling. Another thing, too, we've talked about this before, is we sell a chemical to store your RO membrane. If you're not going to be using your RO membrane for a period of time, then we sell a chemical that you can mix with water, 5-gallon bucket of water, pull the top off of the RO membranes like I showed you, and fill the housing up with this mixture. And that will keep it'll keep the water in the membrane from bacteria growing, which can damage the membrane. So, I did want to tell you guys we're out of time, but I wanted to tell you that I am available for the next hour. If you have any more questions, you can call me. My number, I think it's on my page here. Well, is it not on there? Okay, you can call me at 865-310-0728. You can email me, john@windowcleaningresource.com, or you can text me at that same 865-310-0728. And so I'll be available for the next hour to answer any more questions or help you with any problems you might be having with your system, or if you're thinking about getting into pure water window cleaning and you're not really sure If this is for you, I can talk to you about some of the programs we have out there with the Teach It program, with waterfedpoletraining.com, as well as our test drive. We've got a lot of things to help you out. And the phone's already ringing. So, Kate, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, we did have a few questions come through, but like
Okay.
John said, he is
Go right ahead.
Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, I can answer a few more.
Yes. Okay. All right. We'll take what's coming right now. One of them I think you did answer was from Perry, and he said, do you always empty the water from the units after use? Does that, I know you said the wash it, emptying that, but does that go across the board for the other units as well?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's the recommended way to clean the filters on the hydro tube is to stand it up and let all the water drain out. Exactly.
Question from Bill. He said, John, I have the AquaClean Dolly system. I've only replaced the 5 micron and charcoal canister every spring. Last 3 years, the water has been 000. Should I worry about my RO and DI membrane?
No. No, if you're getting 0, that's perfectly fine. If you want to test your ROs to see what level they're working at, just pull the John Guest fitting loose before it goes into the DI, and you can check the TDS there, and check the TDS coming out of the spigot and the TDS coming out of your second RO, and do the math, and you can tell what percentage, if it's bringing, if it's taking 98, 99, 95, and that will give you the life of your RO membrane.
Okay, and we had one last question from Rob Scott, and he said he's a full cubic DI tank, TDS starting to read 003. Suppose I need to order a bag of resin, question mark? Tonight.
Just get on to johnwcr.com and order a bag of resin, because it's going to, minute you see, what happens with that, this is a good question, is resin is cation and anion. So you're starting to see numbers. That means either the cation or the anion, depending upon what minerals are prevalent in your water. One of those is expired already. So the other is going to go quick. So, yeah, you need to order a bag tonight.
Great, and that was the last question. So like John said, we're going to wrap it up now, but John has his phones open, has his text messaging on, email, all of that. So if anybody has any questions or wants to get a little one-on-one information, feel free to give John a call. John, I did post your phone number up there and your email address so that they could have that right now already if they didn't get a chance when you were saying it out loud. So for now, I want to say thank you to everybody that attended, and thank you so much, John. But we're going to end the webinar here, and until the next one, guys. All right, have a nice night.
Thank you. Good night.